Hi, everyone, and welcome back to another show. My name is Tyler, and I'm with Matt, the founder of ORATS. ORATS is an options analytics platform built on top of over 15 years of historical options data. And our dashboard is integrated with Tradier, meaning you can research and discover trades on our platform and then seamlessly send them through to your Tradier brokerage account. Today on the show, we're going to be using our legacy backtester, a familiar product for many longtime users of ORATS. This is our most capable and advanced backtester with many entry and exit indicators that we will be showing you how to use today. Before we get started, Matt, do you want to share your screen and go over our positions?
Sure. Thanks, Tyler. Yeah, the old backtester. We have a backtester on our dashboard that's a backtest finder that has millions of pre-run strategies, but some people still like to develop their own indicators that they want to check against various strategies. So we support both. But yeah, so you see my screen okay?
Yep.
So we had two trades on. We had XLU, long put diagonal. That was profitable till about, if you look at the watch list, the market was up and then it just came down. There's some Mideast tensions that must have flared. So we were looking good. So I could pull up the diagonal here. I could say this is a paper trade for the Tradier Hub. So those are the notes come with it. And then I could look at trade history, and I could see that it was worth like 30 cents earlier this morning, and now it's worth negative 20 cents. So we were at a profit, and now we're at a loss. So hopefully it'll come back. We still have some time in that position, and we've got a good winning record going. So hopefully we can. So we had our profit and loss was set at 3 times 15. So it hit 2 times 15, but we didn't get out there. We had another MCHI. So I could look at our trade journal again. I'm teasing it out. We haven't released it, but let's see. On April 8th, 1 week ago, that was the XLU for 15 cents. So we see that there, and then we also see the profit and loss. So we're down a little bit right now. And then the week before, so here's the MCHI. Our entry price was negative. So we sold a call spread for 58 cents and we bought it back for 25 cents. So we had a $33 profit on that. So that worked out pretty well. And that's all the ones I had on, Tyler. So should we jump into back testing?
Yeah, let's dive into it. So if you go to the backtesting tab on the left, this is where you can get started. So you have the all backtest is our pre-canned backtest. That's the default tab, and you can browse through tens of millions pre-canned backtests. A lot of them on SPY and IWM, and then we also have almost 100 other stocks and ETFs that you can find a bunch of strategies for. We have over 10 strategies for each ticker, which is really cool.
And then the entry triggers.
Yeah, so the entry triggers and the exit triggers, those are something that we've added as sort of like enhancements to a regular backtest. So you can see how that backtest performed under different environments. So if the environment was a low VIX, like if the VIX was below 15, and we tested that as an entry trigger for each backtest in the pre-canned list. We've also tested simple moving averages, 14-day RSI, implied volatility percentiles, and slope percentiles.
And this is all updating too, because earlier this morning the RSI wasn't oversold. Now it's oversold, and the VIX is now in a moderate. So these are updating during the day, which is very helpful. And we should also mention that the trade ideas conform to the environment, I call that. So here's a long call calendar. It's still adding them, but so there aren't any. So here's VIX is moderate, RSI is moderate. So we're updating, our SPY stuff as the market updates.
Yeah,
so
really
that's
how those trade ideas sort of tie into the pre-canned back tests.
right. Exactly. And what I was trying to point out is that the environment updates too. So the trade ideas conform to the environment that we're in right now. So
right. So we're not going to get a trade idea that hasn't been back tested on the environment that we're not in right now.
Right. Exactly. Well said. So, and you can see that they're not in all the time. When it flatlines, they're out. And then, only when the VIX this is when they get in 15-day strategy, and then their exit triggers there as well. So as you might imagine, in the pre-run strategies, we've run many, there are 5 million here, but still traders might have their own indicators that they're looking at or ways to trade particular. This is a short put spread. So and then what we do is we rank this by the best return on risk. So I could also, if I turn this on, then it only finds trades that are in the current environment. I'm going to turn spread to stock price off right now. I'm going to turn that off, and then so this will pull up, the best short put spreads based on this best return on risk, and then you could read about how we sort things, because you could sort on Sharpe ratio, you could sort on Sortino's, but these are the ones that I like to look at. So the best one that it's looking at right now is a 36-day to expiration. You sell the 33 delta, buy the 6 delta. And these, like we saw before, now the RSI is oversold. Earlier it was just moderate. IV percentile is high. And then we get out at 50% stop loss. So what we might do is we might say, well, if we want some different indicators, we could go to this legacy backtester. So we could click on the legacy backtester. And then when it comes up, we'll go to the backtest here. And then we'll go to create new backtests, and we could go to SPY, a short put spread here. Again, the days to expiration and the deltas are defaulted to a 30-day and a 30-15. So you could change those, and you could also edit additional parameters, and that's what we're going to talk about today, because there's so many things you could do. I'm going to make it a little bit bigger. The date range. So we go back to 2007 to 24. And then, there are a number of different things. Expiration type, monthly, weekly. Is there a stock position associated with it, long or short, or none? Return type, you could do notional, or you could do margin. Entry days, like if you have a long-term strategy, you can break it up. So you could trade like every 15 days or every 5 days or every day for that particular, if you wanted to do it that way. There's a spread yield percent. So when we're selling this put spread, we have to get a certain amount of option entry price divided by stock price. So it's a ratio that you would adhere to, a minimum and maximum. There's absolute spread price, absolute deltas, spread price difference. That means the stock difference. Excuse me. This strike difference means, so if you're $10 wide, you have to sell it for at least 20% of that, or something, and then you could also get out at a certain percent. Hedge days, if we wanted to hedge it with stocks, how often you would do that? We default to 1 day there. Hedge tolerance, when it gets to 20 delta, then flatten out. Market width ratio, that's how wide the market is. So you don't want to trade when the market's too wide. So these are all settings that you could put in there. This is kind of a weird one, but kind of nice. This is basically put call parity is holding. You could trade only certain volatilities, implied volatilities, the actual absolute values of the bid or ask that you might want to trade. There's some entry date triggers, like earnings as an entry date trigger. The one that we want to talk about is the one I get asked the most about are these entry indicators. Before I dive into that, anything from you on this, Tyler?
I mean, those are a lot of entry criteria you just went over. I just want to remind our viewers that the definitions for all of these parameters are all on ORATS University as well. So it kind of explains what they mean and how the legacy backtester works and what all those things are. It's under the custom backtesting 304.
Right. Excellent.
And under that entry criteria section of the legacy custom backtester.
Yeah.
So,
excellent. So yeah, you can see all the definitions in here. Yeah, that's a great feature, Tyler. Thanks for setting all that up. All right, so today we're going to talk about some entry indicator triggers. As I said, I get a lot of questions on this. So first, we click edit. By default, Contango is in there. So you could delete that, or what we're going to do is just edit that. So what might be a good indicator that you want to see, Tyler?
I think a lot of people want to look at implied volatility. I mean, just like, X earnings, implied volatility. We have interpolated IV, so we can look at the 30 calendar day interpolated IV. And what that does is it just sort of standardizes interpolates between the days to expiration that are available right now for IV.
Right. So you use a 33 and a 28 day, and you'd interpolate there, and that's how you figure out what the implied volatility at the 30 day is. That's why they call it constant maturity. Now we could only trade that when it's between 10 and 15 or something like that, but that's not always the best way to do it. We could also look for a ratio. So we could do historical volatility HV, or I should say ORATS HV. And then and when you start typing, you can see that there's already a lot of ratios in here, but we could use these or use our own. So here's the ORATS HV 120 days, for example. So when implied gets above this, we might want to then sell that or whatever. So we only want to enter the short put spread when the implied volatility is greater than the historical volatility 120 days. And the way we would do that is we would just say, that divided by that, so it might be 30 divided by 25, and you'd only trade it when it's greater, that ratio is greater than 1. So you'd press OK, and then you press OK. So now we're just going to send that default out with that being the only indicator trigger. So let's just send that out.
If I wanted to trade when it was less than 1, would you set the max to 1 and then leave the minimum blank? Okay.
Yeah, you would set the max to 1. And we could do that too if you want. Again, we'll go, oops, I didn't want to do that. SPY. Bull strategy, we're going to do the short put spread. We're going to leave those, or edit additional parameters. Entry indicators, again, edit. And then go to IV30, and then define that ratio between. I start typing HV. I guess it's ORHV, and then kind of scroll down, and we'll get that 120 day. And then instead of min, we'll type max. So it will be kind of opposite time. And then again, we could run that, and then maybe we'll learn something when those are done. They usually take, I have a lot of favorites here, so they usually take a few minutes to run, not too long. Matter of
While
fact,
we're waiting on those, Matt, can you go back to the dashboard really fast? We just went over a lot of indicators, and I want to show our viewers how to learn what those indicators are and sort of what they mean. We have an indicators tab that you can search all these indicators. Yeah, right there.
so just, yeah, right there.
Yeah, right there. And so you can sort of browse by category. We have really popular ones. We have earnings indicators, some of the ratios you were mentioning, Matt, right there on the bottom right.
Yeah.
So it's the search is right there. So you can search for the ones we just used with the ORHV.
And then the cool thing is you could actually see a graph of it. So I think that's really neat.
Yeah, so it sort of explains, it has a definition, it has the related indicators there, it has that graph, and then you can also add it to a stock scan right there if you wanted to scan by that indicator. But down there at the bottom where that more details, our heads are kind of blocking it a little bit, but
Okay.
it sort of explains, gives a little snippet of what historical volatility means, or sort of an explanation of what that indicator is.
Yeah, that's beautiful.
It's a great resource to sort of run through our indicators and just browse through them and explore which ones you might use in your backtest.
Right. All right. Yeah, good point. So let's go back to, I think I opened that. So let's go back. So the short put spread. Yeah. So this one has run. So let's look, which one was this? So you could view the inputs and remember that the minimum of 1. So yeah, so that's 166, minimum of 1. And now the maximum of 1, as I scroll down, it's probably this one. Yeah, that's max 1. So the min one was slightly better. And then, of course, we show all the monthly returns and all of the actual trades. And the cool thing is you could download all this information, put it into a spreadsheet, and manipulate it as you wish.
So Matt, I like to use a lot of technical indicators when I'm trading, like say moving average, the MACD. What kind of technical indicators do we have in here?
Yeah, so let's try it with some technical indicators. So add. So now instead of again edit, instead of if I click on use regular indicators that we call our regular indicators, I click on that and then it says Contango and has all our regular indicators. But if I click on technical indicators, then if I do the drop down, there's a Chaikin oscillator, Bollinger Bands, exponential moving averages, MACDs, simple moving averages, etc. So we have the what we consider to be the popular efficacious ones. So yeah, MACD. There are ways that you can look at a fast period, slow period, signal period, and then do the min max of that, and it'll show you. It'll only trade when these periods are in this are in that min max. So, for example, if we use Bollinger Band, there are numbers for that. If we only use exponential moving average, then there's numbers for that. Average true range, the period and where it is. So you could make all these settings. Relative strength, 14-day period. Again, we saw that. We saw the relative strength in our own dashboard, backtester. So the relative strength is below 33 for below 40. So you could set that same one to different numbers. If it was below 40, you'd set the max at 40 and you delete that. But you could see how you could customize all those. And another thing that you could do is you could just put in one, let's just see. So one, you might have stock price, and the other you could do moving average of the stock price, and you could even use a different price, but I don't think you'd want to do this. So that's an 8-day exponential divided by the stock price. So you could see that you could do a lot of different analysis here. Is the stock going up? Is the stock going down? MACDs and all that.
Yeah. So if I wanted to sort of replicate what we were doing in the pre-canned backtest and say I want to enter, if I'm trading SPY, but I only want to enter when the VIX is low, how would I do that?
So you go to our regular indicators. You go to stock price for the VIX, and you go to VIX as a symbol, and you only want to trade it when it's greater than 15 and less than 30, let's just say. So this would only trade that trade when that holds up.
Got it. And you can do these for entry and exit also, right?
Right. Okay, so I just set that one flying, but let's do a new one. So, and again, we could also be doing this for the days to expiration, but again, we've done millions of these with various different days to expiration through, excuse me, through here. So yeah, to answer your question, you could also use exit indicators, time that you get out of a trade. So, we might get in with the stock price of VIX at what was it, 15 to 30, but that will stay in, and we'll get out. So it's between there. So then we need to set something. So you could get in at 15.1 and it could go down right away, and you'd still be in it. But if you set an exit criteria, so again, edit stock price, VIX, and you could set the same things, 15 to 30. Then it'll get out when that happens. So and then if I run that, I could compare it to the other scan that we did, see if it's better to get out quicker or not between these two.
Cool. Yeah, so these features, these entry and exit indicators, are not available in the custom backtester and the dashboard. That's sort of the big difference between these two versions of the backtester.
Yeah, definitely. Some people want to have very specific times they want to get in or out of a certain strategy, and that's where the customized backtester could really come in handy. I think it's good to go and find generally what works, and then try to fine tune it in the customized backtest, because you could see how long it would take to run 10 versus 5 million. So that's why
custom, like very specific dates that you want to enter. Right. We get a lot of questions about you know what I'm about to say. There's a way in the legacy backtester to enter based on like exact dates. So we're not using any entry or exit indicators here. It's just a list that you upload of exact dates.
Right.
So this is something you would do if you've already had some sort of indicators that maybe from an external source or some data that you want to validate, and then you'd try it out in the backtester.
Yeah, real good point. So if you go to advanced options, you could see entry and exit signals. So you could paste in entry and exit signals, and this is a document that we have that shows the format. But if we can make our own formats or whatever in here and paste that in. So if I were to paste that in right now, back to the wheel. So I would just click where the symbol is and press Control V, and now it sees, SPY, that SPY here. If I were to do SPY in NDX, and I go back to the wheel here, now it has SPY and NDX. So it just takes those signals, and you could either exit the signal or just have it continue until expiration. This would exit at this is the exit. The entry is on the left, exit's on the right, and all the different symbols and entry and exit dates are there. So that's a really neat feature to see. Now you have trading at each one of these. And if I were to run that, so I could run a short put spread on all those different dates. So these, you can imagine, these could be your own signals that you developed, and you could say entry and exit for various or the same symbol.
Yeah, very neat feature available in that legacy backtester.
Yeah, again, go to create backtest, go to show advanced options, go to entry and exit signals, and that's how you can get the format. And then you can either drop a file there or paste it in. So we've made it pretty easy for you to do that.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so let's not make the mistake that we made before and not have a trade. Let's get a trade going. So the best short put spread. So this is the short put spread that we got out of, I think. Yeah, min max doesn't really show. Oh yeah, exit trigger. So we don't want to do the exits because that didn't work out too well. So let's go back to our list and see which strategy worked the best here. So it looks like the 166 short put spread works the best. And that I think is just that's one. Okay, so let's check to see, how do we check to see that? Scanning it. So I don't think, well, it depends what that ratio is. I'm not sure if that's going to work. I'm going to use the scan feature on this since we put our own scan in there. So why don't we kill that? So this is the best one. So we found now that the IV divided by, here we could edit it. Yeah, so the IV 30-day divided by the ORATS 120-day is high, then you would enter that trade. All right, let's see then. So in order to do that, like, you could calculate, you could go look at the 120-day by going and looking at the values in the ORATS and trade that. So let's say that trade is in play now. So I think we're going to.
And we can look at the stock scanner and see if SPY shows up when we put those fields in.
That's a good way to do it. Actually, you're right. So SPY, you could just paste it in there, right? SPY.
Yeah, and it's only going to show results for SPY, and we can see what the value is.
Right. So there's SPY right now. So let's see the historical volatility.
You probably want to do the add indicator option there, yeah, and do a ratio.
All right, I could do a ratio.
It functions very similarly to
the
backtester.
Right. I just want to see. I want to see this. Oh, it's HV 120 day. So there it is. So we'll just do a display. So that's 11. So we know the IV 30 right here, display. So we know that that's over it. So it is time to do that trade. So then we could go to the option scanner, and the same defaults, that are in our backtester are in here. Oops, no, that's a long. We said short put spread. And we'll kill this one. Short put spread, same days. Yep. All right. So, and I like to do where the forecast is high. We're not going to get too many smooth errors, not errors, but wide markets. So this one likes the May 17, 486, 475. So this will be our trade for today, Tyler. We back tested it. It's in paper trading. We encourage you guys to always paper trade for a while. So we'll give them let's see, it's the theoretical value is 137. So we'll give them a couple pennies. Yeah. And then we'll force that. And so we'll get a fill on that. So this is the one that we'll watch, Tyler.
Awesome.
All right. That's all I got.
All right.
There's the fill.
Thanks, Matt. Yeah, it's really neat to see the legacy backtester. It's a very powerful tool. Thanks for going over that. Unless you have anything else, Matt, we'll see you guys again in, I think, 2 or 3 weeks, Matt.
Oh, yeah. I'm going on vacation. So, yeah, we'll see you in a couple of weeks.
Sounds good. Thanks, Tradier Hub, for hosting us, and we'll see you guys soon. Bye.
Thanks.
All opinions expressed by Tradier Hub contributors are solely the contributors' opinions and do not reflect the opinions of Tradier nor its affiliates and/or subsidiaries. You should not treat any opinion expressed by Hub contributors as a specific inducement to make a particular investment or to follow a particular strategy, but only as an expression of their opinion. The contributors' opinions are based on their own personal research, but neither Tradier nor its affiliates and/or subsidiaries warrants its completeness or accuracy, and it should not be relied upon as such. Any trades or positions discussed or referred to by contributors may or may not be actual live trades or positions. Such information is not intended to be financial or investment advice. Tradier Inc. is the parent company of Tradier Brokerage Inc. Tradier Brokerage Inc. and Tradier Inc. are separate entities with their own products and services. Securities products and services are offered through Tradier Brokerage Inc. Tradier Brokerage Inc. is an independent subsidiary of Tradier Inc. All rights reserved. Member FINRA SIPC.